My friends, hello. Many of you are writing to me to ask the question, how come you support Frexit in a context where Brexit has obviously failed? So, oh, look, a dog is coming to visit us. So maybe I'll try to get rid of it. I'm trying to get rid of it. He has a collar, right? You see that he has people. No, I didn't want him to come and eat you, right? Subtitles ST501, subtitles 501. He's there. Look, come here. I'm talking to you. You want this? Try the dog. Take it. Your dog, it's a dog. It's dog. Here we go again. Here are the hazards of live broadcasting, as they say. So let me tell you, they tell me Brexit has failed. You support Frexit. What's your stance on that? How can you reconcile these two positions? First, I'll give you an example. As an African, I prefer speaking in examples. There was someone who was in prison. He spent 20 years in prison, and then after 20 years, he was released. He got out, and when he got out, he went down the wrong path. And then he ended up an alcoholic. He ended up homeless. The emergency services found him dead from the cold, right? So there you go. I just defended the idea that it's better to stay in prison, that prison is a good thing. You can easily leave prison and make poor choices again. The United Kingdom has very deep problems. It's not that the United Kingdom doesn't have them. If you say the United Kingdom messed up Brexit, I might give another African example. It's like if you take someone who has failed all his life, really, his whole life, everything he started, everything he did, he destroyed his personal life, his professional life, his health, everything. And then you tell me, you see, he failed his driving test, yes? Actually, about Brexit, I want to tell you something that might be a bit provocative. Brexit is just a detail in the history of the United Kingdom. In the British decline, the United Kingdom has structural problems. Part of these problems comes from the fact that it's called the United Kingdom. Kingdom means a caste of privileged people who inherit power. I'm not even just talking about the royal family. People see the royal family, yes, but that's just one part. That's just the tip of the iceberg. There are a lot of lords, for example, who sit in the House of Lords and have seats that are inherited from father to son. Sometimes for centuries, it's still a country where there are laws dating back to feudal times that are still in effect. Let me remind you, as I explained in my book, Astrology, that the royal family receives money from offshore wind turbines based on a law dating back to William. It's a law from the year of our Lord, 1079, isn't it? So it's a country that's been plagued for centuries and centuries by a society of privileges, a caste society, a society of nobility. And so it can't get out of that. But today, what's happening in the United Kingdom is that this nobility or this caste has taken up the cause of wokeism, of the World Economic Forum. So through that, it's about climate activism, carbon, the destruction of the economy, isn't it? And so from there, indeed, Brexit or no Brexit, it's a country that can't be saved today. Only a real full-scale revolution can fix it. But that won't happen in the United Kingdom. It's a people who don't have the tools to understand what's happening to them. It's not the same as France, because France can not only leave the European Union, but at the same time, it can change its elites. There is a possibility to change the elites. The elites in France are not inherited, the seats one after another. So you see, it's really not the same country at all, because the United Kingdom, through or based on appearances of, let's say, how do you call it, democratic appearances, it's still a country that always has one foot in feudalism. And so we have, if you will, enlightened or not so enlightened dictators, if you will. And that's always been the history of the country. In fact, it's from one king to another. Well, the country completely changes its face. You could have a king who converts to another religion. Suddenly, he persecutes those who were well regarded and accepted just yesterday. Then everything changes. When this one dies and another takes his place, well, change happens again. That's always been this country's story, but maybe now we're in an endgame scenario because once he destroys jobs, drives away investors and companies, and brings everyone down, as he is doing now. I seriously doubt he can just bounce back just like that with a snap of his fingers. He'll be able to bounce back the day he wakes up, but it will take them decades. France is different. Now, regarding Frexit, let me tell you something. There are a lot of parties that support, not that they support the European Union, but they don't talk about Frexit. Quite simply because they're doing real politics. You see what I mean? They're doing real politics. There are two that don't do that. We have Astino's Union Populaire Républicaine and Florian Philippot's Patriots, which everyone knows about. I'm close. These two parties, if you want, honestly, I would like to see them one day come together on a common platform, because practically I think that 90% of their orientation or values are absolutely aligned. Because the difference between these two parties and the others, I'll tell you right away, is that the others are doing real politics. What is real politics? It means, for example, starting a party. I ask myself, are the French ready to hear about Frexit? Yes and no. I'm Eurosceptic. Everyone knows that. But, well, are they? How will it go with the French? How will it go with the voters? How will it go with the media? How will it go with the people who could potentially finance my party? Well then, what am I going to do? Maybe I'll tone it down a bit on Frexit. I'll avoid talking about it. I won't put it in my program. Now I'm invited on television, people talk to me, and I'm considered respectable. If I talk about Frexit, well, I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot. And that's why those who still talk about Frexit today, I have to say I admire them. In the sense that they're people who are upright, people of value, people with principles. Many people, like the National Rally and Eric Zemmour's supporters, used to talk about Frexit. Even if, deep down, they're Frexit supporters or Eurosceptic, well, they tell themselves, no, let's stop with all that. It's better to be more consensual, you see. And that's it. The reality is that you can't have a solution without Frexit. We shouldn't lie to ourselves. The people who tell you, the parties who tell you, various groups, and I respect them, that's not the issue, but who tell you that we can implement this program or that program, it's nonsense. It doesn't make any sense. It's like if tomorrow I told you, yes, I'm going to open a McDonald's franchise, okay? And here's what I'm going to do, because I'm against junk food. And so in my McDonald's franchise, I'm going to bring in organic products. There will be salads, there will be fruits, there will be natural products, there will be balanced meals. I'm seeing that you're just saying anything now. It doesn't make any sense. But I'm going to say, if you're part of the McDonald's franchise, you serve the meals at McDonald's and you shut your mouth. That's it. That means you don't have any room to maneuver. At best, the franchise contract might allow you a small detail. From one country to another, you see small changes. About 99% of the program comes from the parent company under the franchise contract. So today, the reality that many parties don't want to admit is that France is a kind of European franchise. It's the European franchise. That means that today, when you start a party in France, it's pointless. You're not a money sitter. There's no point in coming to lie to people. There's no point in telling them, yes, we'll do this, we'll do that. We'll fight against illegal immigration and similar issues, but there's no point in saying that. You're lying to people. You have to stop. You have to stop. It won't work. You're not a money sitter. Once you get into power, there's only one thing you'll do. You'll implement the European Union's program. You'll do what the European Union allows you to do, and you won't do what they don't allow you to do. Whether your name is Zemmour, whether your name is National Rally, whether your name is whatever, that's exactly what you'll do. You'll follow orders, that's all. There's nothing else. Because today, we have a European Union that is more and more federalist, and precisely this federalism means that the individual countries there are losing their sovereignty. Isn't it to the benefit of the destruction caused by Brussels? So yes, someone can always bring that up. I hear that argument. They'll say yes, but look at Hungary. No, Hungary. There's Orban right now. Orban is doing what he can, but Orban won't be there forever. You see, Orban is resisting now, but one day he'll be gone, he'll leave. One day there will be elections that will probably manipulated by the European Union, just like it was in Romania. There are many current efforts and actions by the European Union to influence the elections. So what will happen? What will happen the day Orban is overthrown? Well, you could have elections where a very pro-European party comes to power, and then Hungary. In just 2 years, it could achieve the progress Orban had blocked. You see what I mean? So no, it's not sustainable. Yes, you can manage in the European Union while blocking things, but for how long? For 18 months, 2, 3, even 5 years, remember, the last Italian prime minister, he wanted to protect the Italian borders. He saw migrants arriving by boat. He wanted to block the smugglers. He wanted to do something a bit like the Australians saying, if you come here, we won't let you in and all that. Soros-funded NGOs were paid to bring migrants back, but he tried to prevent it. Well, he ended up being dragged to criminal court. He was prosecuted for kidnapping. You see what I mean? So when you see this kind of situation, honestly, the only serious way to take your destiny back into your own hands is really to leave. It's really to just get out. Otherwise, well, that's it. You accept your fate, you stop complaining, and then you live your life hoping that the end will be as pleasant as possible. That's all. That's just it. It's like if someone refuses treatment. Imagine someone has appendicitis and he says, no, but I'm against surgical operations. I refuse treatment. Well, what do you want us to do? We'll put you in a bed, and then hoping that your end will be as pleasant as possible. So today it's very simple with the French. Either you go towards Frexit and then you go through the pain precisely of doing a Frexit. Because I'm not naive. There are difficulties on such a path, but it will allow you in the long run to take back control of your country. But otherwise, you just stay as you are, and then you wait for what von der Leyen or her replacement will decide for you. That's it. Your future will be decided in Brussels, abroad, by globalists. And then when the globalists sign trade agreements and your farmers are destroyed, and then your industries have to relocate and your jobs are gone, and all that, you accept. I mean, you signed up for that. By being in the European Union, that's part of the game, that's part of the equation. So yes, a Frexit maybe, it might be a little scary for some who have only known this, but you know, it's like going to the dentist. Yes, that's true, going to the dentist. We're afraid, we wonder, yes, am I going to be in pain? Will he know how to handle everything without his needle and all that? In the end, when we leave, we feel better. It's the same for all the decisions in life, whether they're decisions we make as individuals or decisions we make as a nation. That's it. And remember, to finish, remember the story of Iceland. Iceland during the crisis, it's a country that during the 2008 crisis took extremely strong measures. Isn't that right? They had decided to up. It wasn't a question of Frexit or the European Union, but it was a matter of saying no to globalized finance. Iceland, a small nation, was required to save 3 big banks that had been speculating for years. They demanded that it would tax the population and pay back the bankers, save the bankers. Iceland said no. So what happened is that there was quite a bit of fear in Iceland. People said it was over and we would die. The press agreed, saying the poor Icelanders were finished. On top of that, McDonald's left. I'll mention it again. McDonald's left, just to reassure you, this video isn't sponsored by McDonald's. So McDonald's left Iceland. And then people were saying it's over. The Icelanders are done for. Go see them today. They knew how to say no. They're a free people. They're an independent people. They are people who live their lives peacefully, right? And they have a better life than the French. They have a better life, they have more security, they have more prospects. That's it, they enjoy life day by day. Look at the Norwegians, who also knew how to say no to the European Union. To the European Union, they didn't join it. It's a country that lives extremely well, that is very rich. It has one of the largest sovereign wealth funds in the world, and life is very good over there. You see what I mean? Some people have said no and succeeded, despite facing years of crisis or challenges, ultimately regaining control of their destiny. But as long as you want to stay in the European Union, I'll say there's no point in complaining. All right. Thank you anyway for watching this video up to this point, and I'll see you in the next one. See you very soon, Sus. There's no point in complaining. Anyway, thank you for watching this video up to this point, and I'll see you in the next one. See you very soon.